Welcome back to this tutorial. In the last tutorial we created the middle section of our UAV drone, and in this tutorial we're gonna go through the motor mount and the propeller, and hopefully we can do the wings. So let's get started. So we already have this plane showing, so what we're going to do, we're going to make another plane on top of this plane. So let's click that plane and bring it out to about 2. Let's see how far that is. That's gonna be good. Okay, and we're going to hide this first plane that was there. Okay, and we're going to go back to our display state and see how's the motor mount. So we're going to create this motor mount here. Don't worry about that. We didn't follow our drawing, because we are not following our drawing. We're following mostly this drawing here. So let's look how far that goes out. So let's make a reference line on that. So let's sketch on the front plane. Let's grab a center line, and the motor mount comes out about here. Okay, exit that. Alright, so now that we know that, we're gonna know that it's gonna come out there, and it's gonna start about here, and then of course the other bit will go in there. Right. Okay, so we're gonna go back to our other display state, and then we're going to sketch on this plane. Or yeah, just so we know the circle that this will give us. So let's sketch on that. Let's exit the sketch. Okay, so let's sketch on this one, and then see our circle. It's perfect circle. Okay, right, so let's create that circle for reference purposes. Oh, that is perfectly circle right around. Okay, so let's sketch that, exit the sketch, and we want to revolve around this. And so what we're going to do is going to exit this sketch, and we're going to make another sketch on the front plane. Right, and then we're going to take a construction line, and then we're going to drag it from this middle point out to about here. So now we determine the revolve line. However, we will revolve around this. So we need another plane that is going to be revolving around this way. So we're going to need a plane that's perpendicular to this, right? So for that we're going to sketch. We're going to take our 3D sketch, and we're going to take a center line. I'm going to say somewhere from the middle. Like that. That's perfect. Okay, so exit that. And we're going to add our plane on this line here and this. So now it will revolve around that way. Press OK on that. So we have a lot of lines here that could be confusing. So let's hide some of the lines. Let's hide this one. We don't need that anymore. That's just showing our references for our turbine. So let's see. That line we need. And what other line is that? That line we don't need. Okay, and then maybe we can get rid of this line. And that looks perfect. Okay, and maybe we can also get rid of this line. Okay, so we got our plane, and then we have our revolve line. So now what we can do is we're going to sketch on this one. Let's spin it around, and then we're going to create the engine motor mount, or what you call it. So we're going to snap from this edge here roughly, and we're going to bring it out about here, and we're going to come in and manipulate this somewhere like that. Yes, put this bit more out, so we add our chamfer. And pull it back a bit. And this time we can probably bring back our second display state, just to give us the reference idea of how. You don't want to go higher than, right? So let's mirror this entity, and so just we can see what's going on. Let's mirror it about here. Of course, let's add our construction line. So let's mirror it over now. Let's mirror this entity, and we're mirroring it over that one. That looks good. And of course, from this point we can manipulate it further. How we like it. Maybe pull it further out. We don't make it too big, right? I think that would be perfect, and I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm first okay on that. Of course, we're gonna cut this side out. The reason why I put it, just to give us the visual reference. So let's add another line. Let's close it down here. That's perfect. And now we're just gonna go to features, revolve, and yes, we want it to be closed. That's perfect. Click OK on that. Okay. So now if we go back to our display state, and then try to hide some lines that we don't need. Okay. So because this is a solid part, the body will be a solid part as well. I left a gap here that we have room to possibly make something going in to the turbine from this point on. So let's go back to another display state, and let's get those reference lines to create our propeller. So let's sketch on this line. Turn it around, and let's get the length of these propellers. So let's sketch one from, that's probably from here. Okay, and then we know that that's the middle, so let's add another center line here. All right. And we're going to mirror this entity over that entity, so we know it's exactly same size from the center. Alright, so if we go now back to our display state, our second display state, we know exactly how big those propeller will be. So let's draw another line to create a plane. I'm gonna draw that line somewhere here, bring it up all the way here, make it straight, exit that sketch, and then we're going to exit this sketch, and we're going to create that plane on this line here. Okay, press OK on that, and let's look at how these propellers actually look like. Right, so we can see it from this one. Okay, let's see. So it's not that big of a propeller. It's actually quite small, but it's more like a pointy. It's got pointy edges, which we will do. So let's just create something. Okay, so we're going to sketch, but let me go back for a second just to see. Right. Okay, so the propeller comes to, you can see it from here, but the propeller comes to the edge of this motor mount, not in the top, not in the middle. So that's what I wanted to get. Okay, so again, let's make a sketch on this plane. And we know already that our propeller is going to end up somewhere here. Okay, so let's create a spline. And let's create, I wonder, yeah, let's create a midpoint. Something like that. Maybe like that. It's probably a bit smaller. Let's delete that. Let's grab another one. Midpoint line. Maybe we can go up a bit more, just so we get a better rotation. Maybe it's not that wide. I would say something like that. Okay. And then let's take a spline. Let's take a spline. Okay. Okay, so we turned that into construction geometry, so now we can see our spline and we can edit it. So that's gonna be our propeller. And most propellers has this shape of a negative and positive pressure points. So let's check that. And then click that to that. Exit. Let's get those handles out. Maybe bring those pressure, low pressure areas. That's it. That's the word where I was looking for, the low pressure area, right? Okay, so something like that. And then, of course, we need to, so that's that one, and we need to create a projection curve. So we're going to project these curves onto this solid body. So let's do that. So let's go split line, and we're going to select the current sketch, and we're going to select the face, and we're going to select single direction, and this arrow is pointing down, so we know that it will project it onto this face. So let's check that. So now our sketches are on that. However, it didn't project both lines, just one of them, if I'm seeing it correctly. Yes, it just projected one of them. So let's go back here. Let's delete this split line, and let's do another the projected curve. Let's try that. So we're going to go sketch on face, and we're gonna go here, and then we're going to choose that, and then we're going to check the face, and let's reverse that projection. Oh, that looks perfect.